Much of the work that we do is behind the scenes. We work quietly with people to sustain wellness, recovery and rehabilitation. It isn't something that you see a great deal of. The work that we do needs to be celebrated. It needs to be told in a way that has hope and that has a future orientation, and that individuals who struggle with severe and persistent mental illness do not always, over their lifespan, have functional impairments that prevent them from working and living and all of the other things that we in this country take for granted. And if you look at the history of the Champions Award, what you see is groups of people who are not just clinicians, but you look at people who deal with policy issues. You look at people from the business community and other communities, which speaks to Riverbend's philosophy that we can't do this on our own. We don't live in a silo of providing specialty services to people with serious and persistent mental illness. We do that. But we have a mission that says we care for the mental health of our community.
Personally, I get really embarrassed about recognition. I do. I get really embarrassed. When Peter called me, I said, "Are you sure? I think you've made some mistake." I'm a mom of a 6-year-old, and I see the importance of social-emotional development for kids. I mean, I just think that it is fundamental to their ability to learn, to succeed in family, in the community. I'm very passionate about the work. I think I realize that working at a foundation is a privilege, and that the Endowment for Health is really the people's money. I feel like children's mental health, social-emotional development is just fundamental to a child's health and well-being. It is foundational, and healthy social-emotional development sets a child on a trajectory to success. And so for all of us, we should really care about children's mental health, children's behavioral health, because children are the future prosperity of our nation and our state.
I think the Champions Award also gives us a platform to address this notion of stigma. You know, those people who struggle with diabetes and those people who struggle with mental illness are treated very differently in our society, and we know that.
It was just the right time, I think, to start talking about that for me and for our community. Just like any other illness, sometimes it sidelines you. But if you manage it well, it doesn't have to, and you can come back. And you don't have to be written off because you have a mental illness and you struggle with that. You can be a full part of society and a real contributor to your community. I still feel like the best way to make stigma go away is to talk openly about it, not be afraid. And if my story still seems helpful to the people working in these circles, mental health circles, I'm happy to do whatever I can. My story begins around the upper elementary school years, and I just feel such a connection with them and know how important it is to let kids know that it's okay to have feelings.
It's not all about Riverbend, it's all about Riverbend in the community. It's about acknowledging people for their different roles and their willingness to stand up and be brave and acknowledge that yes, there's a stigma involved in this. Even those people who have struggled in their families and with themselves, public figures who are willing to stand up and say, yeah, I've struggled, but look where I am today.